Born Francesco Catelli to parents Giovanni Domenico Catelli and Anastasia Garogo, this Swiss-born Italian went on to become one of the two most important Baroque architects in Rome during the 17th century. As a young man, his parents sent him to Milan, Italy, where he would learn the craft of stone cutting, just as his father had done when he was a young man. After several years of education, he became trained in architecture and sculpture stone cutting. In 1620, at age 20, Borromini chose to travel to Rome where he could begin his career. He made this decision without consulting or notifying his parents. In Rome, he became a draftsman and stonemason working for Carlo Maderno, one of Italy's major practicing architects at the time. Together, Maderno and Borromini worked on the Baldachin in St. Peter's Basilica and the Palazzo Barberini consecutively. Maderno led the projects with the assistance of Borromini and another well-known Baroque architect, Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Bernini is considered to be the other most important Baroque architect during the 17th century in Rome. Borromini and Bernini did not exactly see eye to eye in everything, and would later become great rivals. When Maderno died before the completion of the projects, Bernini took the lead, and Borromini continued to work under his direction. Although Bernini and Borromini were both architects during the Baroque period, both had very different styles. Gian Lorenzo Bernini's style was more traditional and classic. He was safe and did not take many risks or experimented when designing his pieces of architecture. Bernini was trained in higher art and specifically sculpture, while Borromini was trained in stone cutting. Borromini was a great admirer of Michelangelo and the Roman architecture that came before his time. These admirations would later inspire several of his pieces. In 1634, Borromini received his first independent commission, the Church of San Carlo ai Quattro Fontane. This church was not only a major work of Borromini, but also of the Baroque style in Rome. The walls of the church create a wave-like appearance, and because of this, a sense of motion is added. This element of design emphasized the drama and complexity that is the Baroque style. His work consisted of complex, unusual, and inventive elements. His attention to detail and beautifully crafted geometric figures resemble the late work and style of Michelangelo. The church is just one of many examples that display this great influence. Borromini's next major work began in 1637, the Oratory of St. Filippo Neri, for the Congregation of the Oratory. This project in particular was much less daring than his work on St. Carlo, which was particularly groundbreaking in the world of architecture during the 17th century. Although the oratory was not as elaborate as San Carlo, the facade of the building still captured the essence and style of Borromini. The facade is broken up by 5 sections that follow along a concave curve, one of Borromini's signatures. I believe this work could be considered one of his major works, given the fact that today people can still see his influence and the Baroque style on the facade and entirety of this building. Beginning in 1642, Borromini worked on the design of the church of Sant' Ivo ai Sapienza and its courtyard near the University of Rome La Sapienza Palace. The church and courtyard are also considered one of his major works. They're beautifully crafted and definitely represent the Baroque architecture of the 17th century. As previously stated, Borromini was extremely innovative, and he was able to create this grand church on such a small plot of land. This church could have easily been distinguished based on the concave curved lines along the facade of the church. This was very unique to the style of Borromini, much like in the Church of San Carlo, and as in the Oratory of San Filippo Neri. One of the most intriguing aspects of Borromini's design is the courtyard leading up to the church. The grand arches and clean lines lead the viewer's eye to the detailed facade and all the way to the tower on top of the church. Borromini put careful thought into his plans for this church, and he did so by overcoming challenges and taking risks, something his rival Bernini would never have thought to do. Lastly, it is believed that this church is his most famous design. In total, Borromini successfully completed over a dozen buildings within the city of Rome. Each displayed his unique ability to overcome challenges and capture drama in unusual detail. Some of the lesser-known works include the Palazzo Spada, which is known for forced perspective optical illusion. Additionally, Borromini's design for St. Agnes of Agon is a notable piece of work. Borromini modified this building, keeping its original essence, but adding his own style as well. Sadly, in 1667, Borromini committed suicide, most likely as a result of a depression and nervous disorder.